Okay, so welcome to the Financial Fitness Program. We'll be working through some information about 47 principles for life from life, the offense and defense and the playing field. So one of the things in the finances that I've always had troubles with, and thank goodness for this package to help me to navigate it. I was good at making money. I was good at making my budget work, but understanding the playing field and how things change was always something that I needed more information about. So I was really glad that I was introduced to this information, and Margaret and I have been working through tirelessly for years to make it all work for me, and I'm very glad to be able to share it with you guys today. So we'll be working on making money our slave, not our master. So the introduction today is, with anything, learning a new skill or a new program, it's like diets. It takes time for us to work through it. And it's not about being fanatic about it. It is about being where we're at and just working through step by step. We have good days, we have bad days, exactly like diets when we're trying to lose weight. I know for me, I've got health goals set, and some days are good, some days are not so good, but we reset and keep on working through it. So with this, we got the areas that are rarely taught. I have done a lot of packages where we've taught offense side of it. I'm taught how to make money and how to look after my money, but there is very few places that are teaching us about why the marketplaces are changing, why the rules keep on changing from the government, and the influence on how that affects us at home. So this is a 13-week program to conquer money and to make it our slave, not our master. The program can be found on the Super app, and you can also purchase the program outright if you would like, and there'll be more information later on today about that. The authors of this program is Chris Brady and Orrin Woodward. Chris Brady is in 2017, Chris Brady was listed among the Richtopia's most influential authors in the world. He's the founder and CEO and creative director of Life. He is also the executive producer of Obstacles Press, and has written numerous books that are bestsellers with New York Times. Those books have also been translated into 8 different languages. He was recognized among the best 25 management and leadership blogs, and is a top business expert. The other author for this program is Orrin Woodward. He is the founder and chairman of the board of Life. He is also a New York Times bestseller and sold over 2 million copies in 8 different languages as well. Orrin holds the Guinness Book of Records in 2014 for the largest book signing of 6,786 copies of his book, Justice and Justice for All. That was signed in 6.5 hours, which is pretty impressive. I'm sure he had a very sore hand by the end of that. Orrin's leadership blogs have received international acclaim and is in the HR's top 100 blogs for management and the university's 100 leadership blogs. So I can only share so much, and I would love to share the video from Orrin and Chris. Let's try it again. You got it?
We're here to talk about a concept called financial literacy. Financial literacy is very important. It's something that we don't necessarily get taught in school. It's something that we don't necessarily learn on our own. And the lack of financial literacy in our society is very telling.
If 99 out of 100 people took a test and failed the test on a very important subject, financial literacy, would we be concerned about that? Because that's where the United States and really the world is at. 99 out of 100 people are not financially free. And it's due to financial literacy. You take a look at the bankruptcies, you take a look at the relationships destroyed, divorces, all of these things occurring due to the lack of financial literacy. This is a vital subject and one that's neglected in culture today, and it's time for that to change.
In 1999, there was a movie called The Matrix. It was a very popular movie, and the concept was that everybody was connected in their minds to a computer program that made them think they were living a real life when actually they were just being used to harvest. The machines were harvesting their electricity, but they were being made to think that they were living a real life. And we've used the term matrix, a financial matrix, because there's so much that goes on in the financial world. And lots of people begin to feel that the deck is stacked against them, that they're playing a game that maybe it's rigged a little bit. And without it being a conspiracy theory, it doesn't really need to be a conspiracy. It's just set up where people profit from others not knowing the basics of financial literacy. The term matrix is interesting because it's also a mathematical term. Orrin and I were both engineers in a previous life, and man, we were taught to work math problems, and one of those types of mathematics is a matrix, where you can have a 2x2, a 3x3, a 4x4, and you can describe the financial condition of most people. You can kind of throw a net and take in almost all of us with a 2x2 matrix. Here's a quick video to explain the financial matrix.
On the left side, we have financial literacy, with two rows representing two possibilities, yes and no. It is a bit startling to realize how little financial literacy is emphasized in our society. Money is always a hot topic. People are often struggling hard to make ends meet, but real financial education is nearly non-existent in our school systems and is almost as absent in our personal lives. The Atlantic stated that less than 1/3 of Americans could pay.
Sorry.
This provides a huge benefit to the business owner. Consider the bottom left quadrant, in which the individual has no financial literacy and no entrepreneurship. The label we could assign this person is broke. This is because there is a total lack of education on how to handle, keep, and accumulate money. And at the same time, there is no business enterprise to bring in more with the unlimited possibilities that business ownership offers. This person doesn't make more and also doesn't retain what is earned. The U.S. Bureau of Labor publishes annual income statistics that depicts what an average wage earner can expect to accomplish during a lifetime of employment. The employee in this quadrant will receive some basic pay increases in the early years of a career, but things will level off and stay basically flat until retirement, at which point one will need to exist on a half to a third of what they were used to while employed. Next, we have the bottom right quadrant, which represents the person who does operate a successful business enterprise, in essence has a method of bringing in potentially large amounts of income, but yet has no financial literacy and therefore is not schooled in how to keep it. We call this quadrant a bottle rocket. This is a very common situation among entrepreneurs who live fancy lifestyles for a season, but lose it all in the next, in a feast or famine pendulum ride that goes from extreme to extreme. Consider the high-paid National Football League players, who, according to Sports Illustrated, on average sign annual contracts worth over $1 million. Within just 2 years of retiring from the league, a staggering 78% file for bankruptcy or suffer significant financial hardship. The story of professional football players, however, is not unique, but even more common among business owners. Most of us know business people in our communities who had big houses, new cars, and a great lifestyle, only to lose it all in some financial calamity. The upper left quadrant, people who have developed financial literacy but do not have a business owner's ability to multiply income and maximize tax situations. This quadrant is called the financially secure. A person in this quadrant experiences the benefits of sound financial literacy. They're disciplined in staying out of debt, keeping more of what they've earned, and often steadily increase their annual earnings. The financially secure individual has built a safety net of financial protection that certainly provides a level of comfort and security. And last, the financially free person. who has both financial literacy and the ability to multiply income and maximize tax advantages through personal business ownership. This optimal combination leads to such people truly being able to live the life they've always wanted with the money, time, security, and choices needed to live a life without limits. But very few people ever find their way into this quadrant, either because they don't develop financial literacy or because they cannot discover the route to running a successful business, which is actually very difficult. While this is simple to understand, it is not easy to implement. In fact, most entrepreneurs are forced to surrender financial security in order to pursue opportunity, which accounts for the feast or famine pendulum swing we discussed earlier. But with the unique combination of financial literacy gained through the Financial Fitness Program and the right kind of entrepreneurship, one can make the leap towards financial freedom with the protection available through financial security.
The Financial Fitness Program, we feel, is very special because it covers all three areas of personal finance. It covers the offense, which is bringing in more money. It covers the defense, which is being better at keeping what you make. And it covers the playing field, the matrix, that computer program in the movie, the financial situation in which we live, that you have to be aware of interest rates and compound interest and the fact that you can become your own best asset or your own worst liability. You have to know the game that you're playing, understand the rules of that game so that you can prosper. And so we teach the offense, defense, and playing field of personal finance, and that's very important. So let's go through the offense. The offense, then, you need an ongoing source of continual education, tools to use to get yourself additional streams of income and ways to stay on track and learn financial literacy and keep those habits active in your life.
The offense, to me, if I were to boil it down to the person getting started, trying to figure out where they're at in the quadrants and move to financially free, would be boiled down to read, listen, and associate. If a person were to start a personal development program, personal development is something like, oh, I don't have time for that, but you take a look at how much time is spent doing things that don't develop your mind. And when you start reading, it's like, well, I haven't read since high school, or I haven't read since college. But reading starts feeding your mind different ideas, and with better ideas, you start producing better results. Listening, start listening to the positive audios, people that are accomplishing in the field of your choice, and start reading, listening, and associating with the best in your field so that your mind starts to adopt the same level of thinking, the same ideas are swimming in your mind as they're swimming in the best champions in the field of your choice. Read, listen, associate isn't a technique. It's a process for all champions to perform in order to achieve their best.
And the principle here, because I don't want to race past this, is the principle is that experience is the best teacher, and you can use other people's experience to shortcut the process and gain knowledge and wisdom and understanding that you don't have to go through the trial and error and the personal pain to gain it yourself. Anytime you can gather someone else's experience and learn from that, it's one thing to know that a hot stove can burn your hand by doing it yourself. It's another thing if your brother accidentally does it and you happen to notice him burning his hand. That's a way better way for you to learn it. That you don't need to go verify with your own hand. You can just learn from his experience. And financially speaking, the tracks have been laid. Nothing that we're going to teach through this video, nothing that we're going to teach anywhere in our financial fitness program, our green box program of materials, the whole suite of products that we offer, none of it is rocket science. It doesn't break a lot of new ground. It's nothing that's beyond the understanding, the ability to understand for any of us. But it just, you can shortcut the process and the pain that it takes to gather this type of information, to learn these productive habits over time by associating with people who have done it through good reading. Now, we don't mean read for entertainment's sake or for a pastime. We mean so that you can learn from the wisdom of the ages. Associate with people who have done it. There's been studies that suggest that your income, your financial situation will be a lot like the 5 people you hang around the most. So let's make sure that you're associating through books, through listening, through who you hang out with, through the communities that you plug into, so that you can maximize your financial literacy. And then the next one, the fourth one, is ACT, and that can be embodied in what we call PDCA.
Yeah, so like the read, listen, associate, imagine it as a circle where you're reading, you're listening, you're associating, you're starting to learn from other people's experience, not your own. Like the old saying, learn from experience, preferably somebody else's. But then within that read, listen, associate circle is just a massive plan, do, check, and adjust. Man, the world is filled with people that talk a good game, but only a few walk a good game. When you're learning all this great information, start applying it. And when you start making a plan, you do the plan. Check your results, see if you've succeeded, or more likely you probably, oh man, I failed here. Then make adjustments and run the plan again. It's like the famous book in the Bible is the book of Acts. It's not the book of thoughts. It's not the book of intentions. It's the book of Acts. People who win act upon the principles. So Read, Listen, Associates that provides the right principles, and then you need to start acting your way to success in whatever field you desire.
So the financial fitness program will encourage you to take offensive steps, to take defensive measures, and to learn about the playing field as you go. So for offense, it's to read, listen, associate, and act according to the principles and the action steps that we'll teach throughout the Green Box program and throughout the whole suite of financial fitness products. On the defensive side, it means shoring up your resources and starting to save more of what you bring in.
You know, it's like if you were to sum up defense, spend less than you make, compound it over time. You're like, how simple is that? Everybody knows that. Well, it's not what we don't know that's killing us as much as what we do know that we're not implementing. And when you take a look at the whole Green Box program, you can read and say, well, that's just common sense. Well, if it's so common, how come 99 out of 100 people are failing at something that's common sense?
There's nothing that we're going to teach through the financial fitness suite of products that's difficult to do. None of this is hard to do. It's just easy not to do. That's why, let's refer back to everything we said about the offense, that's why you need an ongoing support system of Read, Listen, and Associate as you apply these principles.
The associate, Chris, is absolutely essential.
Absolutely.
Well, think about it this way. The Weight Watchers, it's like, well, how do you lose weight? How about burn more calories than you consume compounded over time? And you're like, well, then everybody should be in great shape because everybody knows that principles. Well, why is Weight Watchers a multi-million, billion-dollar company through the power of community? Gathering together with other like-minded people that want to hold themselves accountable to lose weight, and through the power of association, they hold each other accountable to achieve their goals.
So as we go through the financial fitness program, as you dig into these things, and I know you've probably had this happen where you have good intentions in your life. Now you've bought the financial fitness program, you have a good intention. Boy, we're going to do it this time. We're going to get our financial act together. We're going to learn the offense. We're going to apply the defense. We're going to understand the playing field. We're going to finally learn financial literacy. And we have these high intentions, and if you're like me, you've dropped a lot of those along the way in your life. There was a time I was going to do this, or I was going to do that, and we kind of let those go. What we need is to lock ourselves in at the moment of peak intensity or inspiration where we have a really good intention. Find a way to lock ourselves in there. You've purchased the program, maybe you've subscribed to some of our products, and then over time then, our community and our reinforcement of Read, Listen, Associate, and then helping you take action steps through the plan, do, check, and adjust strategy, those will keep you locked in at that good intention and let you apply that over time so the power of time and compounding can start to work for you. That's the purpose of the overall financial fitness program. It's not an individual product. This isn't just talking about getting out of debt. We're going to also talk about the exciting side of learning how to go on offense and bring in a lot more income, but we're also going to teach you how to prosper across all three categories by the program and what it does to continually reinforce what you're going to be learning for your financial fitness. So congratulations for getting a hold of the financial fitness program. If you're brand new to it, your assignment is to dig into those materials, take a look at those initial materials, and start to take those action steps that are taught at the beginning of that first book.
For most of you, the first action step is to determine where you are on the financial matrix quadrants. When you determine which quadrant you're in, then we can develop a step-by-step plan specifically for you to help you move from that sub-optimized quadrant into financial freedom.
We talked about how each of us have lived at various parts in that quadrant. Figure out where you are because your starting point is very important. For instance, if you're up in the tightwad quadrant, what are some of the first moves?
We're going to need to help you move into the offensive category. We're going to really focus on Read, Listen, Associate, and the plan, do, check, and adjust, that action step, in order to move you into further offense so that you start making more money and start to be able to live your dreams without going into debt.
And if you're down in the status quadrant, what are the steps for them?
Well, certainly we're going to be reading, listening, and associating. We're constantly going to be improving your skills. However, if you're in the status quadrant, you're probably already making some decent money. Now we just got to teach you to save some of that money, so allow that money to start compounding for you so you can enjoy all of the skills that you develop with a financially free lifestyle.
And those that are really struggling in that broke quadrant, what do they do?
Well, as you said, they were the ones that kind of have given up. So we're going to help you get up. We're going to teach you defense and offense. We're going to start working a specific plan on, let's get you making more money. Let's get you reading, listening, associating, starting to fill yourself with hope again that you can win here financially. And then as we start helping you win financially, help you save some of that money so that you move from the broke, from worst to first. You move from the broke quadrant to financial freedom.
And this process is a lot of fun as you start to make those moves out of whatever quadrant you live in now and you head toward that financially independent upper right-hand quadrant. This is a lot of fun. You're going to enjoy the process. So dig into the materials and start progressing towards financial fitness today.
So with anything starting anew, it's good to always begin with the end in mind. Why would we want things to change? What is it about where we are now, from the sum total of all the decisions we've made, to where we would like to be? What is it that we would like to do? Now, with this, I'm a big believer in constructing dream boards, and I'll just share super quickly. Here's my dream board. It's got the things that I like and the reasons why I'm struggling while I'm stretching and growing and working towards those goals. So beginning with the end in mind, be very clear about what it is that you're working towards. Why do we need to change our habits? What about them is the benefit of changing those habits to reach the goals that we're looking for? Get together with your person that's invited you and talk with them about how to construct a dream board. Get very clear about what it is that you want. They will also help you to work through a strategic plan on how do we get to that point. And that's what I love about this program, is that we do have all the supports in place to help, not just through reading, listening, but the association. So working together as a team to make it come together. One of the things they were talking about, Chris and Aaron was just talking about, was the compounding. And one of the things I was very aware of is the compounding debt in my life. So the compounding deficit, waking up every day more broker than when I went to sleep. So one of the things that I learned from this program was how to make compounding be working for me, having that compounding to make me richer while I'm asleep rather than the other way. So the compounding interest is the eighth wonder of the world. Understanding the costs of living increases, things that are happening in our daily activities, the decisions that are being made that are outside of our control. And yet I know that all of the people on this webinar today have experienced that our dollar doesn't go as far as it used to. The program also is working through understanding assets versus liabilities. What are things that are income producing rather than things that are taking money out of our wallet, out of our bank account? The difference between income and expenses. What is it that generates income? What is it that is an expense that we have to mandatorily pay? Usually is our basic needs: food, shelter, clothing. What do we have in those expenses? The program also goes through the difference between investing and saving. What is the difference? Yes, both of them are putting money into our account, but that sometimes there is a need for investing. We take the money, not to spend it, but to invest so that we have a return. The program also goes through a lot of government policies, understanding a lot of the American side. Even though Australia is independent, a lot of our trade deals and a lot of the government policies are tied together with Australia. And so everybody has been watching the Trump-Biden fight to see who will be victorious there. And I know at my workplace, definitely that has been a hot topic. Even though that doesn't directly affect our way of life in Australia, it actually has a huge effect on the world as an economy. Understanding our superannuation, preparing for our retirement, not being a requirement for age, but actually a requirement for money. So will the pensions be there? The change in thinking from my dad's generation, and even now my generation, looking at prepared for our retirement times. So I'm just going to pause before we watch the next video and just ask if anybody would like to chime in, and any questions. Just unmute yourself, and if you're happy to ask any questions, I'm happy to answer.
I found, this is Kathy.
Yes, Kathy.
I found a lot of that resonated with me.
Yep.
I'd love a wish list of, you know, even down to schooling kind of thing, learning a lot of financials for our kids and that to learn, and instead of developing bad habits. And I suppose my biggest thing is I don't know where to start. So I liked the way that they kind of went through the steps and procedures that kind of, yeah, felt quite comfortable for me.
Yeah, lovely. And it's very logical progression, which is what I loved, because the world of economics for me, and I studied it at university, and it still confuses me every day. So I love that this program has that progression in there, and you do have all the supports with all of our panelists and the people that invited you along too, Kathy. So they're to help. Thank you for sharing, Kathy. Is there any other questions? No? Okay, we'll move on to the next video. So this is explaining about why things compound against us, which is something that I could not wrap my head around, and I found this great information to help.
Developing financial literacy means understanding the money thing, figuring out how money works, what it's really for, and how to get it working for you instead of always to be working for it. And one of the ways that I learned about it was by studying some of the greats who have done really well financially. One of my favorite people to study is Warren Buffett. Depending on the week, he's one of the world's number one, number two, number three richest men. And I find it interesting that he didn't start a factory, he didn't invent a computer, he didn't come up with some kind of technology. He just started to understand money at a very early age and started to compound money early, started to accumulate it, started to understand investing, and started to really realize how you can allocate capital to make it grow. And over the course of his nice, long, fruitful life, he's grown a snowball bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger over time. And it's a great illustration of what's supposed to happen with money. With money, we are supposed to accumulate productive assets over time, to use money to grow, and then that funds the things that we've been called to do in our lives. That money then, yeah, it can be used to buy some things that we want. It can buy a little lifestyle, some security, but it's also for contribution and to fund the dreams that you have and the life that you've been called to live, the things that you've been assigned to do in your life. So getting money working for you is one of the most important, essential elements of financial fitness, and it's a big part of what you're going to learn as you go through this program.
And so the three principles: rebound, impound and compound. I love these principles, Chris, because when you talk about rebound, that just brings hope to me, and hope for you that no matter what you've done financially, let's say you've messed everything up. Man, I owe more money than I'm making, and I've got all this debt, and I don't have any assets. You could have messed everything up, but the beautiful thing about finances, it's like running a marathon. You can have a bad mile and still end up with a good marathon time. In the same way, you can have some bad years financially and still turn it around through the process of rebounding.
And the reason we use the term rebound is because most likely, as you're new to this information, you've probably got some mess to clean up. There's probably a little milk spilled on the floor. I know there was for my wife and I when we first started learning true finances and how the offense, defense, and playing field really worked. And so you kind of have to rebound off that bottom and realize that, all right, well, it is what it is. The facts are what they are. But with the right knowledge and information, you can move forward and live a productive, fruitful, financially fit life. And so we'll rebound off that bottom, and we can clean up that debt. We can get you out of that mess. We can alleviate that stress. And you got to hang on to that hope a little bit if you're really in a financial mess. Those of you that are doing a little bit better, the reason rebound applies to you is because things don't always consistently go smoothly. There's going to be a car that breaks down. There's going to be some kind of financial calamity that will hit. Things do happen from time to time. And again, you need a support system. You need a community. You need an ongoing measure of strength to hold you up through those times and keep you bouncing off that bottom so that you can rise up and fight again. And so our program is designed to do that. Information over time, where you continue to learn, you continue to apply, you continue to receive support from our community so that you can apply these financial principles and come out of the mess that you're in when we find you, perhaps, or handle the things that are going to be messy along the way. Both of those, that's rebound. But that's only the first step. The next one is impound. What I like to describe about impound is if you and your friends were out hiking in the woods one day and somehow you come across an old abandoned cave and it's all grown over with vines, but you think you spot something through those vines, a little glitter, a little glare, a little shine, and you pull back the vines and you look, and lo and behold, some old pirate centuries before has stuck mounds and mounds of gold in there. Impounding is the feeling that you get when you grab that gold and take it to your car and cart it home and make trip after trip after trip. How hard would you work to impound that value into your life? That's the next step. Impounding, bringing that value into your life.
And I believe inside of every human being is gold. There is treasures lying within, and it's our responsibility to bring that out. And we can do that through that process we talked about earlier of reading, listening, associating. It's your responsibility to build skills, to build the abilities within, and turn that into the ability to make a living, to produce results in life. And that's all part of impounding, building assets, building skills, building capabilities.
The Financial Fitness Program will lead you through all of those things. We have something that we call the U Incorporated Hierarchy that you'll get to in later video installments and you'll see in the original Financial Fitness Program. And it teaches you to establish some emergency savings and how to start having savings and targeting savings and prepare for calamities and different things that might happen. But the lowest level, the base of that diagram is investing in you. And that's the biggest part of impounding, is what Orrin mentioned, is onboarding that information and learning that financial knowledge so that you become more and more of a positive financial weapon in your own life. The third one then is compounding. Naval Ravikant, the CEO and founder of AngelList, said, all the good things in life come through the power of compounding. Albert Einstein famously said that compound interest could be considered the eighth wonder of the world.
The power of compounding can be illustrated if someone said, would you like $1 million or a penny a day doubled for a full month? And most people are like, man, give me $1 million, a penny a day doubled, that's nothing. And certainly if you take a look at that after the first 15 days and you're probably sitting at like 20 bucks or whatever, you're like, man, I should have taken that $1 million instead of the penny a day doubled. Except for by day 30 and then day 31, you're looking at $17 million. That penny a day double, although it starts slow, through the process of compounding can produce bigger and bigger and bigger results in life. And so many people, because they think very short term, they're like, give me the $1 million. Reading, listening, associating, that could take years to develop. And yet, if you're going to be alive anyway, why not start the power of compounding today? Like the old saying, when's the best time to plant a tree? 20 years ago. When's the next best time? Today.
We tend to overestimate what we can accomplish in a short amount of time, and we all largely tend to underestimate what can happen over a long period of time. If we can start the correct habits on a consistent basis today, over time, because time will pass, we will not be able to stop the passage of time. It's working automatically to keep ticking off of that clock. It'll either work against you or it will work for you. For those that get out of debt and start to accumulate a snowball of assets and compound those over time, you become your biggest asset. For those who are in debt, you've become someone else's biggest asset and you're your own liability. And the power of compounding is working against you. I like the word pounding. It's compounding. It's coming around to pound you again and again. So the power of compounding means doing the right things and having the patience and the consistency to allow that to grow and blossom over time. And as you said about the tree, the things with compounding is you want to start as soon as possible and you want to start with as much as possible. So our financial fitness program will walk you through how to hurry up and get to the point where you're starting to compound assets over time and then help you keep those habits consistently at it over and over and over again as the years go on. And it will amaze you as those years pass how much this can work in your favor.
You mentioned Warren Buffett earlier, and he said you can make a lot of money without having to go into debt to start your compounding. And so many people think, oh, I'll use OPM and I'll borrow $100,000 or $1 million and then I'll have it make money. Warren Buffett created his whole snowball and he never borrowed money in the whole process.
So the key is going to be to understand to plug into something where you can rebound out of the mess that you may be in and to continually rebound as life takes its shots at all of us, which it always does, to impound and bring in value and bring in additional streams of income and then to compound that over time. That's the overall layout of the ground that we'll be covering together as we proceed through the financial fitness program. And all of our suite of products are all designed to help you through each of those three categories. So now that we've covered this high level, we're going to start digging in and helping you do all these wonderful things.
Okay, so accessing the information that they were talking about. There's two options. The subscription is a monthly subscription of $33, $30 plus GST. The link can be for access, can be from just ask the person that has invited you along today, and you can write your email address if you have not already received the information from the student reference. Just type your email into the chat box and we'll be able to send you over that link to register. Or you can buy the program outright for $171.90. It's a $60. It's a single download onto the Life Leadership app, and you own that information outright. You get a website with all of the details that we'll be going through as well. So the program also includes a lot of forms for, and I love that they were downloading the forms because I would make mistakes and my plan would change and my numbers would change and I just scribble it out and then start again. So the forms are there. They're your forms to be able to do whatever you want with them, and they're work in progress. So one of the things that I found with the downloading forms, I could reprint them when I messed up the form. There is a free quiz there. The quiz is part of the student reference material, and that quiz is designed to help to understand the baseline. It is a series of questions to understand what learning we already have about money. So it's a really great quiz, and we take it at the beginning and then we take it again at the end of the program. And that way then we can see how we've progressed and how our muscles, our financial muscles, are getting stronger. There's also a milestone charting program, the scoreboard, to see how our progress is being recorded. The milestones is working through all of the principles, and we tick off when we've completed that level. So the chart is really simple to follow there, and it's available in the student reference material and also online through the Super app. Email your details across if you have not already received that, and download the Life Super app. So these are the ways to access that information. The Super app, the Life Leadership, the Financial Fitness Program includes a workbook, 9 audios, and a reference book for following. The Super app, they are all digital now, so available on your phone and on the website. And then understanding the personal financial grade. So how do we stack up today? Where is our baseline? And what do we need to learn? This is a great, very, very short video, but a great way to start to think about what information we need to start gathering.
In an earlier video, as we described the financial matrix, the 2x2 matrix and the 4 quadrants, we talked about make sure you know where you are and figure out which quadrant you're mostly in so you can figure out how to move from that quadrant up to the financially free quadrant. We want to introduce another way to look at it and kind of grade yourself on where you happen to be at the moment. If you picture a vertical line, and then that vertical line to the left of that vertical line is losing ground financially. To the right of that vertical line is gaining ground financially. And off to the right, you can picture at the top an A+. You got an A+ grade, you're doing very well financially. At the bottom, you're getting an F, you're flunking, and in the middle is a C grade. The C grade is you're spending exactly what you make. You're not getting ahead, you're not falling behind, you're just kind of treading water and hanging in there. As you go upward from basically not gaining any ground and move upward to the right, you're actually earning interest. Your money is now being productive, and money is earning you more money, and you're putting away more and more money every month. And the more you do that, the more you're moving up to an A grade in what we call financial freedom. But as you move downward to the left, you're paying interest, you're losing ground, you're not your own asset, you're someone else's asset, and you are in fact your worst liability, and you're losing ground. You're spending more than you make every month. And at the extreme end of that is bankruptcy. So the idea is you want to move upward and to the right, saving more and more money, earning more and more interest off of that money, and going more and more toward financial freedom.
Ben Franklin is an excellent example of this point, because when he started, he was an apprentice and he had to use time to make money. He had to sell his time to make enough money and barely pay his bills. And then as he started thinking about it, he's like, man, there's got to be a better way. And he started his own business, and then he started franchising his business. One of the first guys to get into franchising, he started franchising his print shops, his launching people in their own business, teaching journeymen to start their own business. And so he started investing in other print shops and started to receive ongoing residual income. And so he turned from using time to make money to where he was using money to make time. And at the bottom quadrants, so the bottom side that Chris was talking about, these are people who are losing money every single day because compound interest is working against them. And guess what they have to do? They got to go sell more time in order to make enough money to service that debt. But imagine when you move to the top, to the upper quadrant, financially free. Now you are no longer having to sell time because you have money freeing your time, because money is compounding upon itself, making enough money that you no longer have to sell time to make money. Now you can use your time for your bigger purposes. And if you take a look at Ben Franklin's life, look at all of the things that he was involved in. Look at all of the helping launch a new country, being part of the Constitution, being part of the Declaration of Independence. All of these things were because he was free from money concerns, because he freed his time by having money compound working for him.
That's the power of moving to the right, upward and to the right on this diagram. As you increase your financial score and you get a better and better grade on how you're doing, you can make money work for you, and you can start to have that time freed up. And that's the definition of financial freedom, where time becomes your slave instead of your master.
So the next step is taking our quiz, having a look at where you are and understanding your level of financial literacy, and we're reviewing that. We can do that. Please email it back to me, and I'll definitely work through some areas. And that is our beginning point. So taking the next steps. And I welcome you all aboard. I know that a lot of people already have their financial fitness program. And so next week we'll be starting with principle number 1. So the reading, listening, and associating, our reading and studying. We'll be looking at chapter 1 in our book for next week. There's also the audio book that's available on the Super app. That I find the audio books fabulously a great way for me to leverage my time. I can be listening to them while I'm at work. I can be listening to them while I'm doing things around the house. The financial fitness workbook is designed for that accountability. It is our running sheet. It is the pages that we have got in the student reference material. We've pulled those pages out, and so they can be reprinted. And the reference materials on the website, there is some great support materials, and the quiz is also there online if you would like to. Listening, we've got 3 audios that I recommend for this week. The first one being the offense and defense of personal finance. This is a great introductory support from, it expands quite a bit more on the video that we saw today from Oren and Chris. And our money views, understanding how we think about money, understanding what it is that has formulated all of our decisions around money that has led us to the position we're in now. And a third audio to listen to is Money as a Slave. This is a great and very funny audio by Chris and Terry Brady, talking about their experiences through this program. The association in working through with our community that is on today. We're all here to support. Get in contact with any of the panelists and also myself. We're there to help and work through and explain any of the information. I recommend booking a weekly catch-up call, so outside of the learning for Monday nights, and that way then you can have very specific program for your situation. All of the information presented on Monday nights will be high level. They will be no advice given, and it is general, so that if you want to be specifically working together, get together with the person that invited you along today. We will have guest speakers throughout the program as well. I've already recorded some of the interviews, and those guest speakers will be available to work through those questions. I'd like to thank everybody for coming tonight, and I am going to stop this, and happy to have discussions and to answer any questions. Thanks.
Thank you, Sarah.
My pleasure. All the chats were good. Everybody all happy?
Yeah,
It was
come
great,
on.
Sarah. Really good. Sorry, I was just going to say it was a great overview of the program and what it went through, and sort of makes you stop and think about where you are financially and where I want to be financially, and they're not the same place.
And that's what the program's designed to fix, Barbara. Thanks.
Thank goodness.
Kathy, you had something?
I just wanted to know, I suppose, Sarah, a little bit about the logistics. So it's 13 weeks, is it, on a Monday night?
Yes.
Right, yeah, Christmas.
Because that's what it takes to go through 47 principles. I had to sit down and work out how many, I didn't want it to be more than 3/4 of an hour. That was plenty enough, especially at this time of the night.
8:30 to 9:30, is that roughly right that I
Yes.
pop in my calendar? Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Sarah, I actually got a lot out of that. Like everything from, you're saying about dream boards. I've had a vision board next to my bed for a year. I didn't even think about doing one for my financial status, and that, which will probably help my vision board come alive.
Definitely. I've got them everywhere in my house.
It's funny. I actually missed your vision. I missed your board because the sharing the computer kind of thing was on, so I'll
Oh.
have to see that later.
Yes,
But-
sorry, yes,
Yeah,
definitely.
that and compounding. It's a whole new way of looking at things.
Yeah. And
Like-
the banks have been doing it forever. The compounding works for them.
Yeah.
I can
And-
show you
and
my
it-
here you go. I can show you my vision board now.
Oh, awesome. Thank you.
Sarah, we can't see it because it's picking up the background. So you need
Ah,
to tip it.
yes, because of the crazy thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe tip it.
I'll take a snapshot and I'll put it up. 'Cause,
Cool.
yeah, I don't go anywhere without it. I travel with my vision board now. It's a nice little one.
Excellent.
No, it's fantastic. Just the way he described compounding it, it just made sense. All of it. It was like it just all clicked.
Yeah, which is
Um,
great because, yeah.
Yeah.
The
Starting
rich
and
just
launching
keep
and-
getting richer, and I don't understand how come. So that's why I took this program.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's a good strategy for us all at the moment coming out of COVID, and especially with my business just launching and then having to stop. So it's actually a really good, yeah, I feel like it's a really healthy way now for me to move forward and really look at things a bit differently, I think.
Yeah, and Kathy, I know that you'll get a lot out of the program because we've got a lot around the business and the things that you've been working on as well. So it'll be great support.
Yep, fantastic. No, thanks, Sarah, for inviting me along. I've got a lot out of it already. It's great.
Yep, no, my pleasure. You're already registered, so I'll send you over your details again, and yeah,
Mhm.
you can take the next steps from there.
I'll probably just do that single purchase. I just have the whole up there. So is there any deadlines or times, or you just every week just give us like homework, so to speak?
Yep, that's what the
Have
plan
it.
is. So we're working through each chapter
Yeah,
as we
What type of
fantastic.
homework is this, Sarah?
So the little bit of homework is not that much, Hayden. So it's literally just the refining, the action side of understanding our finances. So
Okay.
for me, it's basically like, what's the income coming in, what's the expenses going out, and we spend quite a lot of time on understanding that. So I know that with your new business as well, you're working on your cash flow for your business and also for personal. So this will tie in really well with that.
Yeah,
And I
okay,
know that you're
awesome.
studying as well. So
Yeah, no, that's why I asked, because I'm already
Yeah.
doing 2 degrees, and now I've
Yeah.
signed up to do this as well, so I had to figure out how much extra work I had to do.
yeah, no, and it won't be that much, Hayden, because I've got a good plan with you.
Awesome. I trust you.
No worries, mate. Ian, how can I help?
Hi, Sarah. You've done a good job tonight, but I'm
Thank you.
expecting improvement.
Yep. Well, we work together, Ian. You've got great supports around you as well, and we'll definitely make it happen, mate. Today's the day.
I suffer from detailitis, Sarah.
Me too. I'm sanguine.
I don't know what I am.
Well, we can work on that too, Ian.
Okay. There appears to me there's 2 ways you can get this financial fitness program.
Yep.
And one is by subscribing to the super app as a customer.
Yep.
That's $30 odd.
Yep.
And it's on your phone
And your website.
and your website, yes.
Yep.
And but also you can just buy the green pack.
Yep.
Now, in either case, you're becoming a customer.
Yep.
So there's, even though the way into this system appears to be through the super app, it is possible to register a customer without having the super app. Am I right on that?
Yes, definitely. Yep.
Right.
Yeah,
So-
so the Life Leadership app, and you would just register for the Life Leadership app, which gives you access to everything, and you just purchase as you require.
Right. Well, thanks for that, Sarah.
My pleasure. Any other questions?
I think Karen brought up a good point before about if people that we might like to, now that we've sort of seen what you've got going, if we would be able to invite some of those people now, so that they could come on board and register. So would that be okay, do you think?
Yeah, I think that it'll be great to get more people involved in the community and more people there to support. Absolutely, because the more the merrier. It helps for everybody to gain that information and working together in those relationships as well. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Sarah.
I finished it. So it's all sorted now. So we're all ready and the next steps. So, okay, love to catch up with everybody and we'll see you all next week.
Next
Karen.
month.
No, no. So
I do have a question.
Yes, Ian.
Just picking up on Margaret said or asked, we've got a 13-week program. Well, you're still able to cater for somebody who comes in after tonight,
Yes.
and
Yes.
that's they'd have a 12-week program.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, it'll actually still be 13 weeks because we start next week. So today's introductory. And
Yes.
so next week we start
So does that make 14 weeks?
in total with tonight. Yes.
Okay, great.
Yeah, we finished at the beginning of February when I worked out all the dates.
Yeah, there's a break for Christmas, you'll all be pleased to hear.
Yes, definitely. I'm not making you do it for New Year's. But we should be mindful at that time of the year. It's lovely to see everybody. Now, whoever has not received that student reference material, please add your email address into the chat box so that I can make sure that everybody gets that additional material. That'll be great.
Looks like you've done a good job and everyone has actually got it. Good
Yeah.
on you, Sarah.
Lovely.
Sarah.
Okay, I've got Karen's. Thank you, Karen. I'll sort yours out right now.
Excellent. And Tim.
And Tim, yep.
Thanks, Sarah. Is it the same link every week?
Yes, it'll be the same link with the same same passcode.
Yeah,
And
okay.
you should get all of those emails automatically. I've set it up with the technology that I don't have to send them out, which is great.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you.
Yep. If you have any troubles with anything, just let me know and we'll resolve to fix the technology.
Yep, sure.
thanks, Sarah.
Okay. Thanks, guys. You have a great day.
Sarah,
And
good night.
see you again next week.
Okay.
Love
Thank you,
you.
Sarah.
Much.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Good night, everybody.
Good night, Mary.